Does anybody here know what an unconscious competent is?
I've seen a few.
What's an unconscious competent? Anybody know?
Oh yeah, when you just get it.
You just sort of think right. And those people, you know those people that just everything always works out for them? They're like, I'm going to do this, and they do it, or they just fall into the perfect job, or they just, everything sort of like Rick over there.
Every guess
And you're just like, what? How is that fair? How is that? Well, it's not that it's not fair, it's just that they're thinking a different way. And most people that think right don't even know that they're thinking right. They just, so I'm going to tell you a story, because I was one of those. Competent, yeah. It's someone who doesn't know that they're thinking right. They just don't, they're just going about their world thinking everything always works out for me, and so everything's always working out for them, but they don't know that they're doing it. They're just, it's just sort of how they were born, or how they are, or how they were raised. So, this is the perfect example of that. When I was 12, I was in 7th grade PE, and Valley View Junior High School had this huge hill you had to walk up to get to the locker room. Our PE class is over, and my teacher, my coach, says, hey Jen, will you take this huge bag of soccer balls up to my office, and you can dress 5 minutes before the rest of the class? And I go, sure. So I grabbed this bag of soccer balls, and I'm headed up this huge hill. Well, at the exact same time, 2 9th grade girls were told to do the same thing, only they had orange cones. So we've got a 7th grade class and a 9th grade class. I'm headed up the hill. 2 9th grade girls are headed up the hill behind me with an orange megaphone, a cone that they turned into a megaphone. And they are shouting at me for the entire world to see. Hey, fatty! Hey, fat ass! As I head up this hill, right? So I get to the top of the hill, and like, I remember distinctly thinking for a split second, I was like, dude, I could spin around and go bam, like this, and they would topple over backwards down this hill, and then that thought was like, followed up by the thought of me sitting in the principal's office, and so I went, no, I'm just gonna ignore it. And I got up to the locker room, and I dropped the huge bag of soccer balls off, and I went to my locker and I started to get dressed. And the rest of the class comes shuffling in. One of my best friends as a kid, Christy Dimmick, comes in and she looks at me and she goes, are you okay? And I looked at her and I was like, yeah, I'm good. And I was actually good, because how I handled that in my head, I just went, man, I feel really sorry for those girls, that they feel like they have to act like that. Like, their mom probably doesn't love them very much. And that was the last I thought of it. It didn't scar me. I didn't go home and cry for days. And I told this story to a good friend of mine who said, I would never have gone back to school after that. Like, I never would have gone back. And I totally forgot about that incident until just this last November. Mom was watching some TV show. It was on bullying. And they said, she asked me, Jen, were you ever bullied as a kid? And I had to think. I was like, not really. I mean, there was one girl on the bus that just kind of bullied everybody. I didn't feel singled out. She was just kind of mean to everybody. No, I don't think I was. And then that memory popped up and I was like, I can remember one time. And I told her the story and she was like, you never told me that. I've never heard that story. And I went, well, because I just let it go. I didn't let it eat at me or get to me. If you learn to think like that, you're a force to be reckoned with, right? Like, if you teach your kids to think like that, they're unstoppable.